Boston Celtics season came to an end in a way no one really saw coming or wanted. A team with championship aspirations now finds itself staring into an offseason that could bring serious changes, and not just minor tweaks. We're talking potential shakeups to the very core of the roster. Reports from around the league are already swirling, suggesting that Boston might be leaning toward trading one or more of its key players. But this isn't just about poor performance or playoff disappointment. The bigger issue here is money, a lot of it. We're entering a new phase of NBA financial reality, and for a team built like the Celtics, the numbers just aren't adding up. Even before Boston got bounced by the New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference semifinals, there were already whispers that major changes were on the table. A critical injury to a key player only accelerated those discussions. It became clear that no matter the outcome of the series, decisions would have to be made this summer. And when you look at the numbers, real financial projections for the 2025 and 2026 season, the situation becomes even more serious. A recently released breakdown shows Boston's payroll shooting up to an estimated $230 million. That number blows right past the NBA's second tax apron. And once that second apron is triggered, the penalties get absolutely brutal. We're talking about luxury tax figures that could reach up to $270 million. Let that sink in. The team would be paying more in taxes than on actual player salaries. For any front office trying to run a sustainable operation, that's just not a business model you can live with. So what's the only logical move? Shedding salary, and fast. When you step back and look at the current roster, it becomes painfully clear that something's got to give. There's no realistic path where Boston can keep everyone, stay competitive, and not get financially crushed under the new CBA restrictions. The updated collective bargaining agreement was designed to prevent teams from stockpiling talent under huge contracts, and the Celtics are right in that danger zone. They've done a great job building a title caliber roster, landing stars through trades and free agents like a high IQ veteran point guard and a game-changing big man. But with so many massive contracts locked in, their flexibility is basically gone. The only real escape is to start moving pieces, and that could mean saying goodbye to some beloved players. Right now, Boston has multiple guys making over $30 million a year, including 2 players who are set to start their Supermax deals. One of those deals kicks off at $54 million, the other at $53. Then there's another player making over $32 million and another just north of 30. Even a player widely regarded as one of the league's best value contracts is now nearing the $30 million mark. On top of that, a promising young player just signed an extension worth $10 million per year starting this upcoming season, which could tack on another $80 million in luxury tax penalties alone. So yeah, the math is unforgiving. This is where things get tricky. The big question now is who's most likely to get moved, because someone has to go. Multiple league insiders have already pointed to one specific veteran whose name keeps popping up in trade conversations. His deal is expiring and worth around $30 million, making him an attractive piece for other teams. The idea is simple. A team trades for him, gets his services for 1 year, and then clears his salary off the books next summer. That's appealing to any franchise trying to keep their books clean while staying competitive. But beyond that expiring contract, there's another name that stands out. Derek White. He's drawn a lot of interest thanks to his defensive versatility and improved shooting. Still, when it comes to potential trade candidates, no name looms larger right now than Jrue Holiday. And here's why. Holiday played a critical role in Boston's recent playoff runs, and his ability to stretch the floor was vital. In the 23 and 24 season, he shot a scorching 60% from the corners beyond the arc. That kind of shooting, especially when combined with elite defense, is rare. Trading Holiday could provide significant financial relief. Moving him alone would cut deep into the projected tax penalty and bring the team much closer to that second tax threshold, which currently sits around $32.4 million. The Celtics are around $25 to $30 million over it right now. So again, this is about more than just basketball. It's about long-term survival under the league's new economic rules. Now let's talk performance. Jrue Holiday's numbers have taken a dip. In the 24 season, he was hitting 43% from deep. This past season, that number dropped to 35%. Not horrible, but enough to change how defenses play him. They're no longer scrambling to cover him beyond the arc, which impacts the spacing for the rest of the offense. He's still an elite defender, no doubt. That's not going anywhere. But from a purely strategic standpoint, his declining shooting and high salary make him the most logical trade chip on the board right now. Even insiders close to the situation agree. Holiday could net Boston the biggest return if they decide to move him. He's known as a steady veteran, a winner, and a defensive anchor. Several teams, especially those with title hopes, would love to plug someone like Drew into their lineup. The idea of pairing him with a young rising star or dropping him into a locker room that needs veteran leadership, very attractive. And what does Drew think of all this? Well, he's aware. He recently spoke about the possibility of being moved this summer, and while he made it clear that his preference is to stay in Boston, he also acknowledged that this is the reality of professional sports. Sometimes tough decisions have to be made. He described Boston as the best organization he's ever been part of. He said he loves it there, but he also knows how the league works. Players get moved, circumstances change, and while he'd love to finish his career in green, that might not be up to him. By the time Jason Tatum is fully healthy and back in the fold for the 26th season, Drew will be 36 years old. There's no way to know what version of him will be on the court at that point, and that's a gamble the front office may not be willing to take. Looking at the rest of the roster, the Celtics still have some flexibility in the form of smaller contracts. Peyton Pritchard's deal at $7.5 million is considered a bargain. Derek White, too, is providing strong value at under $30 million. These are the kinds of contracts that align more realistically with a team trying to stay under the second apron while still competing. On the other hand, Kristaps Porzingis is another player who could be on the move. He's earning over $30 million, and his performance in the postseason left a lot to be desired. Since arriving in Boston, he's missed 65 games. He's battled through nagging injuries and even sat out during critical playoff games due to an unspecified illness. His defense around the rim, spotty. His rebounding, inconsistent. For someone brought in to be a key piece, his impact just hasn't been there. So what happens now? Will Porzingis get another chance to prove himself? Or is he headed out the door? As part of a cost-cutting move, the front office is reportedly evaluating all options. They know that trading him won't be easy. Other teams are aware of his injury history. But they also know that his contract still holds some value, especially to a team willing to take a chance on his upside. Meanwhile, other names continue to pop up in trade speculation. And believe it or not, one of those names is Jaylen Brown. Yes, Jaylen Brown, one of the pillars of this team. A player who just put up 35 points and 12 assists in a must-win Game 5 against the Knicks. But here's the thing. For all his talent and explosive athleticism, there are still lingering questions about whether Brown can be the number one option on a championship team. And with both him and Tatum locked into Supermax deals, the Celtics may not be able to afford both while also building a solid supporting cast. Brown's salary is set at $53.1 million next season, the second year of a 5-year, $286 million contract. That's a huge number. And if the right deal comes along, Boston may be tempted to pull the trigger. They were open to trading him a few years ago when another superstar was on the market. And while that trade never materialized, it showed that the front office isn't afraid to explore bold moves. One particular rumor making the rounds is that Boston has been keeping tabs on a high-level young prospect in this year's draft class. Now, they don't have a ton of draft capital at the moment, but they do have Jaylen Brown. And if the right package comes up, a combination of a top draft pick and a promising young player, it's not out of the question that Boston would make that move. Pairing a top-tier young talent with Tatum could be the start of the next era of Celtics basketball. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In a stunning development that has sent shockwaves through the NBA community, Boston Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla appears to have reached a breaking point with franchise star Jason Tatum. Following the team's latest underwhelming performance, Mazzulla addressed the media with an uncharacteristic bluntness, stating, "He's not playing with me anymore." The comment, sharp and emotionally charged, has sparked intense speculation about the deteriorating relationship between the coach and his top player. The tension between Mazzulla and Tatum has reportedly been building behind the scenes for weeks, with sources close to the team citing disagreements over leadership, effort, and execution in critical moments of recent games. While Mazzulla has generally remained composed in public, his outbursts suggest that frustrations have reached an unmanageable level. Tatum, widely regarded as one of the league's premier talents, has struggled with consistency during the playoffs. His body language on the court has drawn criticism from analysts and fans alike, and despite putting up solid numbers, his influence on winning games has been questioned. Mazzulla, who has emphasized discipline and accountability since taking over as head coach, seemed to signal that enough was enough. The Celtics, a team with championship aspirations, now find themselves in an internal crisis. The timing of Mazzulla's statement could not be worse, as the postseason intensity increases and locker room unity becomes crucial. The coach's message may have been aimed at sparking a reaction, but instead it risks creating a rift that could derail Boston's title hopes. As of now, Tatum has not responded publicly to Mazzulla's comments. The Celtics organization has also remained silent, possibly scrambling behind the scenes to manage what could quickly become a full-blown controversy. Whether this was a calculated motivational tactic or a genuine severing of ties remains unclear. But one thing is certain, the Celtics are facing more than just challenges on the court. They are battling a storm from within. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.